Hello guys, my name is Chris and today I'm going to teach you how to do a projectile motion physics problem. As you can see here, we have a car with initial velocity in the x direction going off a cliff that's 100 meters high in the water. And we're going to solve for the displacement in the x direction, or delta x. To organize all the variables, we've created an x and y table to link the x motion and the y motion. Because of independence of motion, we have to look at each motion differently and not as the same. But the time is linked, so that's how we'll solve this problem. Let's fill out the variables we already know by looking at the problem. We can see here that the car has a velocity in the x direction, so that is the initial x velocity. We'll fill that out here in our table. We are solving for the delta x, so we don't know that, and we don't know the time yet. In the y direction, there is no downward motion, so there's 0 for the initial y. So 0 is our initial y velocity because the car is not moving down at all. The final y velocity is unknown because we do not know the speed at this point. Displacement of y, or delta y, is how far the car went down. We can see here that the cliff was 100 meters high, making the delta y negative 100 meters. The acceleration is a constant in physics, and we use negative 9.8 as the acceleration constant. And the time, of course, is unknown. We can see here that we can link the times and solve this problem to get the delta x. Now, to solve for the time. Here's an equation that uses y variables to solve for time. Once we have the time, we can plug it in the x side to get the delta x. So, just using our table, we could see that negative 100 equals, we have 0 initial y velocity, so this is just done because 0 times any number is 0. So 0.5 times our acceleration, which is negative 9.8, times time squared. To solve this equation, we just need simple algebra. Negative 4.9 times squared equals negative 100. To get time alone, we divide 4.9 into 100. And we get 20.4 equals time squared. Taking the square root of both sides give us 4.5 equals time. Having solved for time, we can now use that in the x to solve for the delta x. As you may know, speed equals distance over time, which means velocity equals delta x over t. Using a simple math technique, we can know that 25 equals delta x over t, which is 4.5. We multiply 4.5 by 25 and get 112.5 equals delta x. We have our final answer of 112.5 equals our delta x, which means the car has traveled 112.5 meters when it drove off the cliff. And that, guys, is how you solve a projectile motion physics problem.